Hello, everybody. This is Dixie. I am currently a PhD student at Colorado State University, and I'm also here with other members of the Colorado Center's Water Fellows program at Water in the West. Do you all want to introduce yourselves? Maybe start with Eiley.
Hi there, I'm Eiley Murray. I am currently an undergraduate at CSU. I work in dryland agricultural systems with Dr. Megan Shapansky, looking at water-limited regions and carbon conservation in soils.
Hi all, I'm Guillermo. I'm a Fulbright scholar from Peru. I'm doing a master's in systems engineering at CSU, and I'm looking for using AI for water quality monitoring, to improve watershed conservation and water utilities metrics.
Y'all are so cool. My name is Leah. I'm a student at MSU Denver, and I study political science with a minor in water studies and history, and exploring the ways in which I can integrate the two.
Awesome. Well, I think to get our conversation flowing, the question of the day is, what are you most optimistic about concerning water in the West?
I feel like something that I touched on earlier that I'll reiterate now is I'm excited at all that the conversation is where it is and that these topics are being brought up at all, because I feel like it's easy to feel climate anxiety being a younger person in the world right now. So seeing all of the different movements and activism that's occurring in these sectors is really heartwarming for me.
I like what you were just talking about with the climate anxiety. I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
Like on a weekly basis, some of that, and sort of taming some of that anxiety and then feeling empowered to like, oh, we can do this. Like there are lots of awesome humans and we're all showing up to the table and we all want to work on this. And that feels really inspiring to me. And
yeah,
being
sure.
at events like this, you're like, oh yeah, there's lots of people that care. And we're all working really hard to try and make that happen.
Especially like people that have cared for a long time, people that have been doing the good work like their whole lives, and then you get to like, I guess, have the experience of hoping to carry that torch.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So in my case, this is my first experience in the water sector in US. So what can I conclude is like, I'm optimistic with the younger professionals in the water sector, because I think that universities, the water utilities, the government, local government, all the levels are like engagement very well, and they bring you to this kind of conference like us as a water fellow, you know? So if you involve younger people in the water sector, it will be very helpful.
With that intergenerational knowledge, I think is critical to moving forward and solving problems, because you're bringing in new ideas and new understanding mixed with an understanding of the system that exists. And that diversity, I think, has the power to bring awesome change.
Yeah.
I know something that's come up a lot as well is using AI as a good tool, but having that base knowledge of how to use it appropriately and what it's missing and what it's capturing is definitely needs to be considered before maybe launching completely new solutions. But that's more your area of expertise.
Yeah, I'm agree with you, but I think AI is a tool, and but you first need the technical background to decide which is better or not, if this tool is helpful to solve one problem. But you need to know what the AI is giving you. Otherwise, it's like makes sense. It doesn't make sense. You know?
Yeah, our technology is like only as strong or as useful as our understanding is.
Yeah, for example, maybe Dixie, when you was in your undergraduate, you have a river and the professors teach you how to measure the flow in a traditional way, you know. But you need that concept to then ask to the AI or use the AI to know, okay, this flow that this AI is giving me makes sense. You know, it's something like that.
I feel like a lot of the conversations that we have around water and my experience with agriculture is like kind of taking back these decisions we made in the past and like rectifying them and choosing new pathways to move towards. And I feel like we have that potential with AI to like potentially do it right because we're at the beginning of something instead of having to work backwards.
I think another theme that I saw today that is really encouraging is how much that human dimension has come in.
Yeah,
For sure.
So, like, especially with our lab and what I want to do with pairing socio-technical modeling with water conservation, something that's been coming up is from those individual stories up to the state scale of what it looks like, these impacts on people with these different water practices and different water policy.
Yeah, there's something I think maybe the chancellor or the secretary said about how our generation is taking more of an individual community look at problems, where the boomer generation, if you will, took more of a federal approach, and how our integration of viewing problems kind of on an individual scale is going to change the way that we approach them and the way that we can solve them.
There was an entire section of today dedicated to education and reaching people in the K-12 division of learning, and how amazing would that access have been to have been introduced to water sustainability ideas when you were in elementary school, and how giving children that access when they're younger is going to help shape the future.
It's also very interesting with everyone's different backgrounds, I think. So, like, at least for me, a lot of my water experience was digging out the irrigation ditch out back, and water heaters broke, so go somewhere else to take a shower, right? And also having that feeling of setting up the irrigation system to water, like, food we're growing in the garden. But everybody's just coming from these very passionate backgrounds where you could have not a lot of water, or coming from a region that does have a lot of water, and that all has its own set of concerns and cultural backgrounds too.
Water is such a personal topic and really drives home to a lot of people. Within my water community, lots of people have like some of their core memories around water. Digging irrigation ditch, that's some of my core memories, is like changing water and being in the fields. And I think that is really powerful in driving this field forward, and feeds into some of that humanness and heart element. Yeah.
So everybody's feeling pretty optimistic?
Yeah. I'll try.
You try.
Yeah.
When humans come together, we can be extremely capable, especially when we're being inclusive and considerate, and that is powerful.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that's a good point, but most of the time we realize the problems too late, and we are waiting to see, like, do you watch this movie, Don't Look Up? It's something like that.
I haven't
This
seen
is
it,
like-
but
It's like climate change in your face, and you are not doing anything, and you're living your life like
yeah.
normally, and then boom, more droughts, floods. And then, we need to be careful with the environment, water systems.
Totally, 100%.
I think it is hard because I feel like we're like, because of maybe age and just like timing in the world, it feels like a lot of it's retroactive. It's like, okay, like this is what we have to work with, and then you're working from this like, much more limited resource standpoint.
Yeah.
And I think part of it too is like we see a problem, we want to fix it. We want to fix it now.
Yeah, the patience is hard.
Right,
Yeah.
but to have a good solution, you should probably talk to the people that solution will actually impact first.
Yes.
100%.
You're right.
And I think that's some of maybe what our generation is bringing with taking a more community, individual lens on these issues, and hopefully be more effective at actually solving those problems.
Yeah.
This is fun because I feel like we haven't really met each other or talked that much in our fellowship yet. So I feel like I'm getting to know you guys on like kind of a very existential conversation right now.
It is really cool.
This
Really
is
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll throw two words for the day so far. What are you feeling? I'll say change and community
Okay.
before anyone else takes that.
I'm impressed with your moderating skills.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Wait, we have to pick 2 words?
Two
this
words.
Just
day?
two
Yeah.
words.
Oh
They
my
can
gosh.
combine into a phrase or they can be separate.
You thought of parameters.
Of course. You need good parameters. for-
Community is really a really good choice there.
Yeah.
I think it underlies the sort of the entire system. Like you have to have that. That's core.
It's that social infrastructure.
Yeah.
So what are your 2 words?
I think for me, maybe like adaptation and optimism, because I normally don't feel optimism about this topic. And this has given me optimism. So, yeah, adaptation.
So you're feeling it today.
I'm feeling it today. Yeah.
Good.
Thankfully.
Yeah, me too. I'm in the same position. My word would be resilience and innovation. Yeah.
All great words, y'all. I think I'm going to go inspired and connected.
Cool.
That makes us honored to be in the room with you, sharing that right now. Thanks for having us here, and it's good to spend the day with you all. And thank you also to Jessica Thrasher and Daniel at the Water Center for bringing us here, driving us here.
Yeah, for sure. For enabling this opportunity. Thank you, you guys, for giving us a little bit of a platform today. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Go
Thank you.
CSU.
Yeah.
Thank you all, too.
Thank you
It's been
all,
a
yeah.
pleasure just to get to have this little micro conversation together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.